On today's video, I'm testing on a set of clubs that's $599. That's a price I love. We're testing the Cali 01Ts, and you may have seen me test the Cali 01s here on this show, but these clubs are going to be a little bit more suited to you players who are looking for a little extra distance. It's pretty much exactly the category that I sit in. Now, these looks are strikingly similar to a lot of DTC brands, but there are some differences which we're going to cover here today. We're going to see if these clubs are a good value. We're going to see how they perform out here on course, and hopefully we'll have some fun on this video. Let's get to work. All right, so let's take a look at this one. This is the 7-iron in hand, and unwrap it, which is always nice. And as you can see here, you've got a nice thin top line. What really surprised me about this club is just how thin that sole is. And in fact, especially at the toe, this is going to be significantly thinner at the toe than the 101T from Tacoma. I really like this profile. It's going to provide some nice turf interaction. Now, Cali says on their website that this is a progressive tungsten weighting throughout the set. So each one of these little weights screwed into that port is going to be different throughout the set, at least according to the website. And as you can see, not a lot of offset, so nice clean players looks in these irons. In terms of shaft, I've got the KBS Tour 120 stiff. There's not a ton of shaft options, and that's by design with Cali. You've got the stiff and a regular option in this KBS Tour with this particular set of clubs. However, a nice thing that they do offer is you can buy just heads only. So if you want to put any shaft on them, you can save a little bit of money by doing that, and you can have these clubs as custom as you want them. All right, here's our 7-iron down in address. It looks nice and big compared to a player's blade. Here's our 4-iron at address. Again, top line going to be thicker than a traditional forged blade, but for a cast club, pretty thin. They do a good job with the beveling there. Pitching wedge here, that's going to be a pretty big looking club, probably bigger than I'd like to see for a player's iron. And I think maybe that top end thickness adds to that, but it's going to be confidence inspiring because it is a nice, big, thick profile. All right, I'm standing here at 150 yards. We're going to take the first shots of the day here. I've got 8-iron in hand. We'll see how these clubs do for distance, stopping power, all that good stuff. What impressed me out on the range is the peak height these clubs are getting, super high up in the air. That one seemed to hit and check up a little bit. We'll check the pitch mark in just a second, but that carried the bunker no problem. I'm gonna hit one more here. That one I hit a little bit fat, and we're just a little bit short of the green, but I gotta say, so far, in terms of forgiveness, pretty darn good. This was our second shot. I hit this one fat. We came up about 8 yards short, but that first one was pretty sexy. This was our first one, really good shot. As you can see, pretty good stopping power as well. I'm gonna actually walk this one off. So we had 3, 6, 9, about 11 feet worth of rollout, which isn't bad on a dewy morning. Great high trajectory. I probably carried it maybe 11 yards past that pin, so I probably carried that about 158. Great result. Generally, 152, 153 is the type of carry I'm looking for with an 8-iron, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go test a few more aspects of this club. Now, people are naturally going to draw a lot of comparisons between these irons and the Tacoma 101Ts, and I think that is valid, although I asked Cali about this. I said, man, your clubs look so much like them, and the founder told me that he actually started this company in 2018, which I think was right around the same time as Tacoma, or maybe a little bit before. Either way, I did take a look at this iron right up against my Tacoma. So even though these clubs are made from, let's say, a similar mold, there's definitely some differences to each of these brands. And it's been interesting to test all these direct-to-consumer clubs just to find out what those differences are. One thing that I think will be very attractive about these Cali irons over a Tacoma, for instance, for a lot of people, is these are going to be about 2 degrees stronger throughout the set than the 101Ts. So this might be a club that you would choose over that one for that reason. All right, we've got 148 to this pin. I'm really going to test the distance of the Cali 01s. 9-iron in hand, which is really pushing it for me, especially on a cold, dewy morning. Let's see what we do here, though. Wow, pretty good strike there. We'll see if it carries all the way. It's up there nice and high, just getting extremely good peak height out of these. And the feels are great. Very soft and compressed feeling at impact. Especially when you catch them in the middle, you can really feel it. And you're getting feel throughout the set. On a couple shots that I've mishit here today, still getting great feels coming off of these. I gotta try one more after that good shot. Pulled that one a little bit, but again, nice and high. Looks to be very good for distance. back of that green actually, so probably long. And for me, and a 9-iron, so you know, my average carry is about 142, something like that. So we'll see actually where those finished. One more. I'm gonna take one more here. Now, a lot of people always want to know about consistency. I would say the consistency of those 3 shots in terms of trajectory, peak height, in terms of how far they went, all really, really close. That dispersion's nice and tight here, at least with the 9-iron. Again, we'll continue to test throughout the set, but let's take a look what those landed. I love fixing pitch marks, and we got 3 nice ones that we're gonna have to fix here. So all these balls in a very good spot. This is the shortest one. I believe it's the first one I hit. We're probably, well, that pin's at 148, and I would say this is 142 here. Not a lot of rollout. Look at that. That's less than a foot. So great stopping power on that one. This one's pin high. So we hit this one 148. This was the 3rd one I hit. And it rolled out just a little bit more there. Let's call it 2.5 feet. But again, very good for a dewy morning. And then this was our 3rd one. We had the most amount of rollout here. We'll call this 4.5 feet. And we're past the pin. I hit this one, well, I carried it about 150, and we rolled out to about 152 here. So real good results. Again, consistency is something that a player needs. And I would say those 3 shots felt and looked very, very consistent. I'm excited about what I'm seeing so far. Let's go to the next test here. All right, 4-iron time. We're gonna test the distance of the Cali 01 tees and see how easy it is to get these up in the air. This is gonna be the hardest club for anyone in any set. I'm not gonna tee these up. I'm gonna hit them off the deck. We're gonna measure them with our GPS here. I'm loving these balls by Legato, by the way. Big thanks to them for supplying the balls for Let's Play Through here. I've got a link down below if you wanna check them out. I think they're as good as anything on the market, and the price is right. All right, 4-iron. Nice height out of these things, a little baby draw there. I kind of hit behind that ball, so I don't think we're gonna get a ton of distance, but pretty forgiving result. And I've found the more I hit these clubs, the more forgiving they get, and I seem to need more and more forgiveness. Shot 2. Again, a little bit toe side, but that's gonna be a really good result. It'll be interesting to see the distance on that one. Probably hit that one right here on the club face. So really good result. Dead straight, exactly where I aimed. And again, peak height was great, but we'll see how much we lose in terms of distance. There it is, although I pushed it. So let's go find those balls, see how far they went. All right, so I wanted this to be a distance test, but it turned out to be more of a forgiveness test because I didn't hit any of those 3 in a very good spot. But as you can see here, all 3 of these balls are in a pretty good little dispersion pattern. This first one here is at 174, so we're definitely gonna lose distance when we hit them off the toe. But if we can keep them in this tight of a dispersion in the fairway, that's not too bad. Second ball here, we are at 182. It just changed it, 182. And then this was our best one. I hit it closest to the middle, still not in the middle, but 189 here. So I'd love to see these distance numbers up around 200. All right, next test here is gonna be the workability test. Every player, if you're thinking about a player's distance iron, wants to be able to move this ball and shape their shots. My normal shot shape, if you watch the show, you know, is a draw, but I'm gonna play a fade here. We're gonna see how I can move this. I'm gonna start them at the left edge of this green, and the pin is actually on the far right, so we'll see where they end up. 6-iron in hand, about a 185 shot here. Starting left side of this green, we'll see how we can fade this and how much these clubs work for us. Nice fade on that. Probably started that more like center of the green, and it ended up over there near the bunker. Hit that one and kind of stayed on line, pretty straight. Little off the toe, just a slight little fade there, and we came up just a touch short. All right, let's find these 3 balls. 2 of them are up on the green in a good spot. The first one, I did hit that a little off the toe, so we lost just a little bit of distance, and you're gonna see that throughout this set. If you miss it, you're gonna have a bit of a distance penalty with the Cali 01 tees. Again, this is gonna be a club that's gonna be for a better ball striker out there. So we did come up short on this one, but again, those last 2 were real good. Second one landed just a little short and actually kicked forward. Probably hit that 162, I would say. And then our last one, that's our best one, and actually got past the green, hit that about 170, and we ended up just right here on the fringe. So decent in terms of workability. I don't think it's going to blow your socks off, but you can move these balls left and right. All right, now it's time to rank these clubs. As you know, I rank clubs on 5 criteria. The first one's going to be distance. For me, the Cali is going to get 4 stars out of 5. You get really good distance, again, deeper into that bag that you go. From the 7-iron on, I think these clubs have fantastic distance. I struggled a little bit. Now, it could be the shaft a little bit, it could be other things, but I struggled a little bit at the top end of this bag, so 4 out of 5. In terms of forgiveness, we're gonna give it another 4 out of 5 stars. Again, more forgiving towards the bottom of this bag than the top end of this bag. You will get a bit of a distance penalty with the Cali 01 tees here if you don't strike it quite in the middle of this club. In terms of workability, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. As you can see, I could move this ball right and left. It's not going to overpower you. It's not going to be a huge swinger or anything like that, but you're going to be able to work this ball a little bit. In this style of club, I would prefer to see a little bit more, but in a cast iron club, you're just not going to get as much workability as a forged iron. In terms of aesthetics, well, we're going to give it a full 5 out of 5. Looks, feel, sound. This hits all the high notes. They look beautiful at address. They look beautiful in the back of the bag, they sound good, and they feel really special when you hit them in the middle. As good as any club in this category in terms of feel, and about as good as a cast iron club can be. In terms of value, well, we got to give it a full 5 out of 5. At $599, you just can't do much better than the Cali 01 tees for a player's iron. You're not going to have a lot of shaft options, and that's something that you're going to have to give up here with these clubs, unless you opt for the iron heads only, and then you can build a custom set to your specs. That might be the way to go for a lot of you players out there, just buy the heads. Now, a lot of people are gonna ask me, I know in the comments, comparing these against the Tacoma 101 tees. Well, we'll have to make another video about that, but I would say these are very comparable on first glance. I don't think today has been my best ball striking, so I do want to do some further testing before I can answer that question definitively, but some really great value here out of the Cali 01 tees. Here's the final score. Enjoyed these clubs immensely. Thank you to Cali for sending them for me to check them out, and I'll catch you back next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.